Just before the event in the dinner, listen to this American spokeswoman say that there were shots that are going to be fired.
It'll be funny, it'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Breaking Lies. My name is Samir Hakim with another episode to break the lies of the Americans and their aggression against Iran. Remember last time we spoke about Trump, who was wanting the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, he was adamant that he deserves it, and he even took a Nobel Peace Prize from another winner. In this episode, I want to talk about Hegseth and how he says the American military should be given the Peace Prize every single year.
The one institution that should win the Nobel Peace Prize every single year is the United States military, because we are the guarantor of the safety and security of not just of our country, but of a lot of people in this world.
Every single year, the United States military, he's claiming, should be given the Nobel Peace Prize. Let's have a look at the history of what happened in Afghanistan, in Libya, in Iraq, in Palestine, in Yemen. You want the Peace Prize for killing 168 children in the school in Minab. You want the Peace Prize for killing 70,000 and more people in Gaza, absolutely demolishing every single building. Now, you may say this is Israel, but it was with the backing of the Americans and the American military. Not only Hegseth, but even RFK, the guy who was talking about how Trump came up with this cool calculation about how a $600 drug coming down to $10 is 600% reduction. That's a new formula that Trump has. But this time, he's saying that the prices of beef have actually gone down 1% and families are better off.
Reach historic highs under President Trump. Do these high grocery prices make it easier or harder for families to eat fresh, healthy foods?
I would say that beef has dropped by 1% in the last quarter.
I know, look, beef prices are up 20%. Banana prices are up nearly 7% since President Trump took office. Cheese prices are up 6%. So again, when groceries get more expensive, easier or harder for families to afford the very healthy foods that you want them to eat?
Well, there's also, you can eat beef, you can eat poultry, you can eat fish, and the price of beef is dictated by the size of the herd. The herd dropped the lowest.
If it's, look, you're not answering, but obviously if the food is more expensive.
President Trump for some.
Okay, so RFK here is telling us that you can eat beef, you can eat poultry, you can eat fish. He doesn't understand these are luxury items for a lot of people. A lot of people in America are struggling to eat basic healthy food, let alone beef, poultry, and fish. And now he's saying that, the beef prices depend on the size of the herd and what have you. He's literally saying and denying that the prices have gone up. And a simple question like, is it easier or harder for families to be able to buy healthy food? He just couldn't answer. Now, at least we're expecting RFK to give us a new Trump formula to prove that it is easier for families to be buying healthy food, but he hasn't done this. Even after being shown graphs like this, where inflation has reached the highest levels in the last 12 months at least, energy prices in March have gone up 12%, and food inflation has gone up as well as core inflation, shelter inflation, and services inflation. All of these things added up to a more difficult situation for American families, and it's because of Trump's war on Iran. Let's continue listening to the video.
You don't need to be a Secretary of Health and Human Services to know that. You don't need to be a United States Senator to know that. The people in New Hampshire, the people across this country know that because they go to grocery stores today. And the fact that you either don't know it or you don't want to admit it just shows how out of touch you and the Trump administration are. Now let's go to another issue.
Absolutely. You don't need to be a senator to understand that the wallets of the average American family and individual is being hit really hard.
I want you to explain a little bit about
everybody's patience has ran out. Everybody's sick of it. Everybody's feeling it now in the pockets and the paychecks. Gas is higher, food is higher, everything is higher because, like you said, this is a region in the Middle East where everything runs through it. Not just oil and gas, but things like fertilizer, things like cargo, food, supplies. And this is something that is being felt in the United States. I can attest to that, 100%. That gas is getting higher and it's not going down. It's raising, it's raising, it's raising. Food is getting more expensive.
Even Trump acknowledges the rise in the prices and the difficulties for the average family.
I took the greatest economy we've ever had, and I said, we're going to have to take a little detour and stop that from happening. And that's what happened, and we've done a great job, and it'll come to an end very soon, and we're going to be very victorious.
So according to Trump's claims himself, he has taken the greatest American economy and taken it for a detour. And for what? To satisfy his own whims and desires, to achieve goals that are not even achievable. The American people are now struggling as a result of his actions and trying to live week to week and paycheck to paycheck. Their wallets are hurting the most, and they're struggling to survive as families and as individuals. And for that, the Iranian people sympathize with the Americans. They know how it feels to live through economic sanctions and economic difficulties, sanctions that were imposed by the United States of America and the West collectively against Iran, illegal sanctions. And why were they sanctioned? Because they didn't like the color of their turbans, or they didn't like the independence that Iran sought.
Their Air Force is gone. They don't have anything.
In the first hour, it was over.
We've won.
Moving on to the next segment of the program. Trump has said that he has cancelled the talks with the Iranian delegation in Pakistan because it's a waste of time. Bro, they didn't even make it to Pakistan to talk to the foreign minister of Iran. He left before he even took the flight to go to Pakistan. Look at this message here on social media. Even the world understands that it was the Iranians that cancelled. Iran cancelled all further talks with you like a week ago. So Trump and his administration have lost militarily, strategically, geopolitically, in every other single way you can imagine against the Iranians in their war. So what do we need now? What are they gonna do? Let's put up a false flag attack. Let someone come and attack the President of the United States with an attempted assassination in a correspondence dinner. How does that sound to you? And what a brilliant, nuanced idea this is, to have a false flag attack so that you can justify something that you want to do that otherwise is just simply unjustifiable. Just before the event in the dinner, listen to this American spokeswoman say that there were shots that are going to be fired.
Rumble, is he not?
He is ready to rumble. I will tell you, this speech tonight will be classic Donald J. Trump. It'll be funny. It'll be entertaining. There will be some shots fired tonight in the room. So everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
I love it all. And you wrote most of it, you said.
I can't take credit. In true Donald Trump fashion, the man puts his pen to the paper himself. So it's a lot of his own work.
Okay, so let's just assume that she was actually talking about the speech that Trump was going to give, right? Let's have a look at this next video where the media actually cuts off a witness describing what she was told just before the gunshots were fired.
I want to just quickly tell you, I was sitting next to Caroline Levitt, the press secretary's husband. He was one of our guests. He was seated right next to me, and right as the dinner was starting, the national anthem happened, and then he kind of leaned over and said, I watched you on TV, you do a great job. You need to be very safe. And he was just very serious when he said that to me. And he kind of looked around the room and he said, there are some...
Sounds like we lost Aisha's phone there. And this happens, by the way, especially when you have so many people attempting to utilize the same cell service at the same time. I did want to add this.
Right, so this kind of happens when everybody's trying to use the cell phone. Yeah, sure, maybe in the third world country, but in America, that shouldn't ever happen, right? Yeah, anyway, so this is really interesting. And, you know, the chief of the FBI hiding under the tables and the security running after vans to protect him before they go to Trump is all kind of getting really fishy here. Now, I know, like, we're not trying to prove anything here. We're not trying to say anything here. It's just that things aren't just adding up here, you know? They're like, you know, doubts are being raised in the minds of many people, including so many Americans who are there to witness what's happening. Anyway, Trump has a 60-minute interview to discuss the situation, and he gets asked a question. Look at the response that he gives.
I hesitate to ask you about this, but as you know, these conspiracy theories out there on the left and the right, that the event was staged or that it didn't happen.
Last night didn't happen?
That it was because it was your first time there, or that Butler didn't happen. These conspiracy theories that are gaining traction on the internet.
And October 7th didn't happen, and World War II didn't happen, and the Holocaust didn't happen, and many things didn't happen. Yeah, no, I hear it. I don't know. I think they're more sick than they are con people, but there's a lot of con in it too. I haven't heard that last night didn't happen. Usually it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Usually they wait about 2 or 3 months to start saying that.
The question is, who asked him about the 7th of October? Why did he bring up the issue of the Holocaust? This kind of puts doubts in the minds of the viewers that, hang on a minute, if he's mentioning those with what happened at the dinner with the correspondents, then should there be doubts about the 7th of October and the narrative that he's presenting? Should there be doubts about the Holocaust and the narratives that they're presenting? I don't know. If you're going to equate those significant events about World War II and conspiracy theories about the Holocaust and the 7th of October to this tiny, insignificant event, we're really going to have to revisit history. One thing we know for sure is that Trump is being extremely self-conscious and defensive. In the next question, she asks something about the manifesto and the comments that the shooter has put in it. Listen to what he says.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Wait a minute. She was just reading something from the manifesto that the shooter had written. And he made no mention of any accusation or allegations that he was talking about Trump, at least in the part that she was reading out. And neither did she. Yet he took it very defensively and immediately denied. I mean, when someone gives you a denial out of the blue, saying, I didn't do it, that's not denial. That's self-identification. That's the lady doth protest too much, methinks, as Shakespeare would have you read in Hamlet. I mean, she was just reading the manifesto. And literally, he's saying, I was waiting for you to say that, you horrible, horrible person. I was like, why would he react like this? Unless he was trying to hide something like rape, where he was actually accused and proven to have raped someone. Now, in the court in New York, it was a very fine definition of what rape is and how to actually define it. He got away with that. But according to a judge who clarified the situation, Trump did actually commit this crime of rape. Let's continue with the video.
I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview and they'll probably, I read the manifesto, he's a sick person, but you should be ashamed of yourself reading that because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are
never,
the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead, let's finish the interview.
I mean, why would you react like that unless you're trying to hide something? Why would you react like that? I mean, the messenger, why would you shoot the messenger? Effectively, what he's done is he's shot the messenger. She's just reporting what the manifesto said, and he attacks her and every other media outlet out there, effectively, because he had a 24-hour truce, and that was long enough for him, so he just went on the attack once again.
Their Air Force is gone. They don't have anything.
In the first hour, it was over.
We've won.
Let's move over to something a little bit more important now. Netanyahu made a comment about the events of the dinner and the shootings that took place, saying that there is no place for violence.
שמחנו שניהם יחד עם בכירי הממשל האמריקני יצאו ללא נגע. אין מקום לאלימות, לא נגד מנהיגים פוליטיים ולא נגד אף אחד. וזה כולל לא רק את ארצות הברית, זה כולל קודם כל את מדינת ישראל בתוכנו.
There is no place for violence, especially when it comes to political leaders. These are the words of Netanyahu. Let's forget about the violence that he's committed against the Palestinians and the genocide that he's committing. He's preventing people from getting across, villages to meet their families. He's killing people at point-blank range, eliminating entire cities. Lebanon, have a look at what is happening in Lebanon now. Entire villages are being decimated. No place for violence. Oh, and especially for political leaders. These are the words of Netanyahu. Unbelievable. I mean, let's not mention the leaders of the Lebanese resistance, or the Palestinians, or the Yemenis, or the leadership of Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran. Ali Larijani was just murdered and assassinated by the Israelis. And let's not forget the assassination of the leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, martyr Ali Khamenei. And it's unbelievable that someone like that would say such a comment. And Donald J. Trump, the President of the United States of America, reposts a message that says that if there are two factions in Iran, one that wants a deal and one that doesn't, let's kill the ones who don't want a deal. I mean, I don't know. You make out what you want out of this is just, it's crazy.
Their Air Force is gone. They don't have anything.
In the first hour, it was over.
We've won.
The double standards that we see from the West is just simply unbelievable. And it's been going on for years. People are just starting to see the double standards now. People are just starting to wake up and realize the amount of hypocrisy that they are using and doing, trying to run the world. And that's why the Americans are falling so fast and so hard. You see, one of the things that is really interesting is with regards to Israel's right to defend itself, while every other country around it, in West Asia and in the Middle East, they're not allowed to defend themselves. They're not in the NPT, so they are allowed to have nuclear weapons and not tell anyone about it. But Iran, who is in the NPT, who is a signatory of the NPT, has to be checked and have cameras and have people visit every now and again to make sure that they are, within the rules of the NPT treaty. Having said that, Israel can do whatever it wants, attack whoever it wants, kill as many people at once, destroy as many civilian infrastructures as it likes, and it will still be protected by the Americans, by the United Nations, and everybody else who's around it, afraid of the Israelis. While people like in Iran and the Iranian governments and the Yemenis and the Lebanese and the Palestinians, they can't say anything. That is just hypocrisy at its highest levels, a double standards that is just simply unbelievable.
You proudly say you haven't signed the NPT. People watching at home will laugh their heads off. You're basically saying, because we didn't sign an international treaty, we don't have to follow international law. So then why doesn't Iran just pull out of the NPT? Why doesn't everyone just pull out of the NPT and do what Israel did? You say Israel reserves the right to defend itself. That old chestnut. No other country in the Middle East is allowed to defend itself. Israel is the country that bombed, count them, 6 countries in the Middle East last year. I can't think of a single country on planet Earth, aside from the US and Israel, that bombed half a dozen countries in the calendar year 2025. That is your country that you're defending, a rogue nation that bombs whoever it sees fit and then claims to be a victim. You say that, for example, you mentioned in your comments, you said 1967 we were attacked. Complete flat falsehood. Israel attacked first in 1967. Everyone knows that. It's a documented fact. You can call it a preemptive war, but you can't just lie on here and say you were attacked. You were not. You said that Iran pioneered the use of terrorism in the Middle East. Actually, that was the Zionist gangs. That was the Stern Gang and the Irgun who blew up British diplomats, bombed the King David Hotel, hung British sergeants, attacked British civilians and military and Arabs. It was actually Jewish and Zionist terror gangs that pioneered terrorism in the Middle East 100 years ago. So
the other thing is, who is going to pay for the war? Look at this video here.
You have been repeating several times that Russia should repay for the reconstruction of Ukraine. Do you believe Israel should repay for the reconstruction of Gaza, since they have destroyed almost all the strip and the civilian infrastructures? Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriele. It's definitely an interesting question on which I would not have any comment at this stage.
No comment. That's the answer that they can give. The Russians have to pay for the damage they do in Ukraine, but the Israelis, we're not going to comment on that. Good question, though. It's a good question. It's a textbook definition of Western double standards and hypocrisy. And if you think they even care the slightest, they don't. They just sleep it out.
We continue our work on negotiating international trade agreements. 59 days after we stood in this office and President Trump, standing with Albert Bourla from Pfizer, announced the first of the 17 MFN deals, together with our colleagues from the Department of Commerce under Secretary Lutnick's leadership and from the U.S. Trade Representative's office under the leadership of Ambassador Greer, we negotiated a landmark agreement with the government of the United Kingdom in which they agreed to increase significantly the amount that they spend on branded pharmaceuticals for the first time in 26 years. That work continues with other countries.
This is the same video, by the way, that the Iranian embassy in Thailand used to show the world how it is that the ships are leaving the Strait of Hormuz without being stopped by the United States Navy. And back to the topic of double standards and hypocrisy. When it comes to, for example, Biden sleeping on the job, you know, Sleepy Joe when they called him, and when it comes to Trump sleeping on the job, as you've seen him. Now, the supporters of Trump are just simply silent. This is what Tucker Carlson has to say.
The loudest insults Trump throws at others are now becoming his own reality. Watch this.
He has one ability I don't have. Yeah. He sleeps. He has an ability to fall asleep while on camera. He can lie down on one of those things, and in minutes, he's stone cold out. And so they have cameras on him, and then they show him sleeping on the beach. You'll never see me sleeping in front of camera.
For years, Donald Trump mocked Joe Biden as Sleepy Joe. He laughed, he attacked, he told the American people, you'll never see me sleeping in front of cameras. But now, cameras are catching Trump appearing to doze off in public again and again. The same insults he used as weapons against others now seem to describe him. This isn't just hypocrisy, this is irony at the highest level.
This has been Breaking Lies. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Their Air Force is gone. They don't have anything.
In the first hour, it was over.
We've won.